Yeah, just like last week, the Eagles practicing today at Lincoln Financial Field, gearing up for Sunday at 3 p.m. Can Saquon Barkley repeat his record-breaking performance from the previous meeting between these teams this season? Plus, Nolan Smith got a well-deserved game ball last week from Nick Sirianni for his efforts against the Green Bay Packers. Can he follow that up with another dominant performance in the divisional round? And we break down the most dangerous players for the Rams that are not named Matthew Stafford and what kind of challenge they pose to the Eagles at the Link this Sunday. Good to see you. Get comfortable. Welcome into Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Danny Pommel's the Super Bowl champ. Barrett Brooks with you. And Barrett,
let's go.
4 days, baby.
I can't wait now. I'm ready to go right now. Let's go.
Big playoff game at the Link. The anticipation is building. I'm glad you didn't scream or do the woo. You kept it under.
I'm trying to stay reserved right now. You know, it's playoff football. Win or go home. You know what I mean? I'm ready to make this thing happen. Let's go, man. 4 days is way too long for me right now.
Winner take all. Nick Sirianni spoke today about the message to his team this week as they prepare for this game.
We talked a little bit about, embracing adversity. In playoffs, in playoff football, and just in the NFL in general, there's going to be plays that when you're in a game that they're going to make, and even with your best efforts, they still could make the play. So how do you play the next play mentality? And again, that's something that we've focused on a lot all year is next play mentality. And that's really, we're saying this week, embrace the adversity, and that's really another way of saying, hey, play the next play.
Nick Sirianni deep in the head. I couldn't even see his eyes there.
Right,
He's dialed in. Time now for the three-point stance presented by Toyota. Stance number one, the Rams. Remember Saquon from the last meeting? Hard to forget. Barrett, when you look at these numbers, 255 rushing yards, averaging almost 10 yards per tote, plus another 47 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, including 2 70-plus yard touchdowns in that. It may be some PTSD for the Rams as they get ready to face Barkley and the Eagles again this week.
Well, they're going to have to get it like that. The Eagles want to win. They got to play that physical brand of football they played in the first meeting they had. I mean, they hit them in the mouth, and that's exactly what you got to do against one of those, Rams team. These guys aren't really tough guys. They're kind of, one of those guys, all right, we want to look good while we're doing it. Wait, we want to take our tough, physical Philly brand of football, and they're coming into our stadium, and they're going to get beat down. That's what it's all about. It's going to be cold out there. It's going to be a little snowy out there. This is exactly what we want to do. Physical brand of football, and I'm looking forward to seeing those guys playing against them. They got a smaller defensive line going against our big defensive line. I mean, anytime you got a tackle, 6'8", 260 pounds, then the other tackle, an all-pro guy, then, both guards, huge guards. You want to just come off the rock, hit him in the mouth, drive him back. You're not worried about passing. Everybody talking about passing the ball. Let's run the rock first, then we'll think about passing it.
Barrett, they're the hot team, though. The Rams have won a few games in a row. They took care of the Vikings. The Eagles.
We're hotter, though. Okay. We're hotter, though. We got the number one roster in the NFL right now, the best roster in the NFL. Let's go.
You heard the man say it. Let's move to stance number two. The passing offense will be better. A.J. Brown did not mince words today when asked about his confidence that the Eagles will improve throwing the football Sunday.
I'm always be optimistic about it. Last week wasn't our best performance, so we got a great opportunity ahead. Luckily, we got another opportunity to go out there and perform, and that's what we focus on.
What gives you the confidence?
It's the players in this locker room. Players in the locker room, the coaching staff. We've done it before, so it's not too far. It's not like it's never been done. So we just got to do what we got to do.
Barrett, a chill, subdued A.J. Brown there. And A.J. Brown, they were lucky to have another opportunity. How much emphasis do you think is on the passing game improving this week? I mean, there's really nowhere to go but up.
They can't do anything but go up. But if they have to, they can do it. And they've done it before. They did in the Pittsburgh game. Do they necessarily need to do it this weekend just to show everybody? I think the game is going to be played according to what's going on the field. They got a smaller defensive line. They got smaller linebackers. So why throw the ball as much as they're going to throw it? Just to appease, us as fans?
Yeah.
Forget all that. But they can do it if they want to do it. And I think Moore has, more in his repertoire as far as, more passing concepts that could really help Jalen out as opposed to what happened last week. Everybody was mad about, he only threw for 100-something yards. Well, that's all he needed to do to win. We got the W. That's all that counts. But he can go out there and execute an offense, after that, he drops back. As soon as that back step hits, he can get the pass to A.J. Brown. Nobody can stop that slant route. They can always go to that slant route. And we know Smitty runs the best routes in the league. So they have the, artillery to go do it when they want to do it. I mean, Dallas Goedert, great tight end. We're talking about 3 top-rate receivers in Goddard, Smith, and Brown that they can go to any time. So, yes, the offensive passing game can go as far as they want it to go, and they do it as much as they want to do it. They just need to get the timing down. Jalen was just a little rusty, coming off not playing in about 3 weeks. That's the only thing that happened. If they need to go out there and execute the offense, they can do it if they want to.
Let's go to stance number 3. Nolan Smith has arrived at the perfect time for the Eagles. Barrett, Nolan Smith really came on late in the season, and then last week he got the game ball from head coach Nick Sirianni. Well-deserved. All over the field against the Packers. Can he replicate that here against the Rams?
Well, he's finally learned pass rushing moves. At Georgia, he was just a fast guy. Yes, he's a defensive lineman and a 4.3 40. You want to use your speed, but he learned real quick that those, big offensive tackles are like dancing bears. They can go out and dance with the best of them. Right. So he couldn't just run around those guys. Well, now he's going in. He's learned how to execute pass rushing moves. He now has an up and under. He can go around you. But he still has the physicality of playing every play nonstop. I mean, he put out an offensive lineman, the guard pulled on a trap. He hit the guard so hard, knocked him out the game, crushed the hold, and they actually ended up being a tackle for loss because he hit him. Put this guy out the game. He put his helmet right smack dab in the middle of his chest, put him out. And from that point on, they couldn't find a guard to replace the guy he put out. So, yes, his physical game, how he plays the game, is exactly where you need to play this game. Nolan Smith is at a point in his career where, all right, he was either learns the pass rusher move or he was going to be a bust. Well, he took it and ran with it now. He's developed in one of the better pass rushers on this team. And with him, the Sweat on the other side, and then Carter coming up the middle, we really are able to contain these quarterbacks a lot better. And we're going to definitely have a statue back there, the quarterback, this week. They can generate pressure up the middle with Carter and him coming from the outside, Sweat coming the other side. This could be a real long game for their offense, a real long game for this offense.
Nolan Smith may be playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder after his boy Nakobe Dean is now out for the season, so he's playing for him as well. Let's get to the playbook coming up. We're ranking the most dangerous players on the LA Rams, who the Eagles need to keep their eye on, not named Matt Stafford, plus some interesting confidence rankings from NFL.com. You'd be surprised where the Eagles are and who will shine in the absence of Nakobe Dean. That's all coming up. This is Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL.
Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and official automotive partner of the NFL.
Oh, baby, it is almost time. We'll set the stage for the playoff rematch between the Eagles and Rams right here beginning at 1:30 with Birds Huddle Game Day. At 2 o'clock, we'll bring you Eagles pregame live before the game kicks off on NBC 10. When the clock hits 000 and the game's finished, flip it back to the Plus channel for Eagles postgame live. And we welcome you back to Birds Huddle. Dave Zangaro joining us now, fresh from the Eagles locker room availability. And, we're doing a little thing here that we did last week with the Eagles opponent, where we're going to talk most dangerous Rams players other than Matthew Stafford, ranking them David Letterman style from 5 to 1. So let's start with number 5, wide receiver Cooper Kupp starts our list. Barrett, what makes Kupp so dangerous, and how will the Eagles slow him down?
Well, he's got it, almost had 2,000 yards receiving 2 years ago.
Is that all?
I think injuries, really kept him from doing the same this year. But because I'm on a guy that's really, really good at running routes. He's quick more than fast, and he's one of the wily vets that, you got to make sure you account for where he is on the field. He likes to line up in the slot, so it's going to be him and DeJean the entire day going against each other.
We saw veteran Adam Thielen fry him up a little bit, Cooper DeJean, when they faced him. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Cooper?
Yeah, Cooper versus Cooper. It was a good matchup the last time. Yeah, Cooper DeJean got the better of him. You remember that one play where Kupp is in motion and DeJean just sticks with him the whole time? Yep. That's the crazy thing. That's the way they deploy Cooper Kupp. He is in motion all the time. Just the more motion than any other player in the league. You got to keep eyes on him. And that's one thing I've been really impressed by Cooper DeJean. His eyes are great. And I expect him to have a big game against Cooper.
That's that wily veteran stuff. He wants to make sure that, they try to keep him from getting a guy lined up, head up on him.
So he's got the athleticism to move around with Kupp for sure. Let's get to number 4, defensive tackle Brandon Fisk. Everyone thought this D-line would take a step back after Aaron Donald hung up his cleats, but this young kid has made sure that that is not the case, Dave.
Yeah, they have a really good defensive line. It's not like they have one star player, but Braden Fisk is doing a really big part of that as a rookie. 8.5 sacks. He's been really good rushing the passer. And a little susceptible against the run. I think you can run on him. That's the one area of his game he needs to get better at. But if you're talking about just getting upfield and rushing the passer, he can do that. He's done a really nice job of that all year.
He's someone this O-line can handle, though, right, Barrett?
Oh, absolutely. He's a smaller guy. He's kind of undersized to be a guy to line up at that 3 technique. But I tell you what, he can get up the field and he can create havoc if you let him get up the field. But when you got some guys double teaming, you got a guy in Jordan Mailata, double team him, then the war of attrition goes on. Now you double teaming him back into the linebackers. He's a little small guy, so that's 700 pounds laying on him. Eventually, it takes a toll on defensive linemen. It took a toll on him last night I played him in week 12. And that's why he had, that's why running back had over 255 yards on him.
Number 3, as we move on, Kyren Williams, 72 yards rushing, a touchdown in the first meeting between these teams earlier this year. Does Williams go a little under the radar, guys, because their wide receivers are so dynamic? What do you think, Barrett?
Yeah, he does go under the radar because when you think of a team, that have 2 great wide receivers like that can give you 100 every week, you don't really think of the running game, but it's the running game that sets up the passing game for them. They are a play-action type of team, and once they start using the play action, that's when things open up for their offense. He's a smaller guy, so he kind of gets lost, in the middle of those defensive linemen and offensive line. That's what makes him so explosive, because when he hits the hole, one-step cut, and he gets downhill. He doesn't play around a lot. He just gets into the hole and goes.
Yeah, he gets what the offense gets him. He's not going to create a bunch on his own. He's not Saquon Barkley out there, but he plays within that scheme and he gets yards, and they run a lot. I mean, He really does tote the rock a lot. I mean, he's on the field almost all the time. Only Saquon Barkley has been on the field more as a running back this year for their team. So, I mean, they're going to run him a lot. I don't expect a lot of, yards over expected. That's not where he shines, but he's going to get what's there.
Yeah.
Number 2, Jared Verse. I mean, this rookie, 4.5 sacks, exciting to watch during the season. A couple of forced fumbles. He can really cause havoc for Jalen Hurts and challenge this Eagles offensive line, Dave. What are you thinking?
Yeah, he's been a really good rookie, a powerful rookie. He's not like a speedy little 230-pound edge rusher. He's got some beef to him. He'll hit you in the face, in the mouth. You look at the pressures he has this year. The sack numbers, they're not going to blow you away. He has 76 pressures. That's 4th in the NFL. He's behind Trey Hendrickson, Danielle Hunter, and Myles Garrett.
Wow, nice
so he's
company.
keeping elite company this year. I don't think he's quite that level of player, but he is their best edge rusher. He's the guy you got to worry about.
Yeah, and when you look at him, he's one of those guys that gets to the field, but he creates, pressure by, going through the offensive tackle to the quarterback. He's not trying to avoid anybody. He's trying to go through you and not around you. His pass rusher moves are really compact, which makes him a good player. He can stop the run, too, also as a defensive end. I don't know if he'd be able to go against Lane. Lane kind of shut him down a little bit, last time they played against each other. But at the end of the day, he's small. I think Lane's going to take it upon himself to go out there and render him not effective in this game, because that's what everybody's talking about. Fisk, and him, generating a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. That's what they did against the Vikings. They're expecting to do the same thing. I think not.
Yeah, it's like bull rush against Lane Johnson, speed to power against Lane Johnson. No big deal. He's going to handle
all that.
Try again, right? Number 1 is, guess who? Puka Nacua. Hard to quantify what this wide receiver means to the Rams offense, other than that he totally changes what they can do. What is the most dangerous part of Puka Nacua's game, and how do you think the Birds will try to defend him, Barrett?
He's a smart player. He understands, if it's man-to-man, he's going to run through the man coverage. If it's zone, he's going to stop and find that break in the zone where he can sit down and make himself available to the quarterback. And Stafford understands that. They got a nice little chemistry going on when they're out there. He's a big receiver, and that's really what's up. He got a huge catch radius, and he's just fast enough. I remember when I was covering him, I called games, on Saturdays, and I called a couple BYU games, and he stood out then, and I didn't think he was going to be that good in the NFL. Hence, that's why he got drafted late in the rounds in the draft. But I tell you what, he's a complete player, and that's what makes him good. He's just fast enough to run away from guys in the middle of the field, but he's just, physical enough to be in the middle of the field and catch those, 50-50 balls.
he'll run you over.
Yeah.
I mean, he's unique from a wide receiver perspective because he's so good after the catch, but not a lot of wide receivers after the catch that are good. You think about them just speeding away from you.
Yeah.
That's not his game. When you think back to Josh Jacobs a week ago, all those missed tackles, that's probably not going to be Kyren Williams in this game. If the Eagles miss tackles, it's going to be Puka Nacua. They got to bring him down. He's so good at that. He creates so many yards after catch that are over-expected.
Yeah.
He's really good at that trait. It's like A.J. Brown, we see that a lot with him. Like, he's creating, even when something's not there, he creates and he figures out a way to get extra yards. That's Puka Nacua in this offense. You got to gang tackle. You got to make sure you get to him. Then you got to bring him down. It's not easy.
Yeah, he's getting, I mean, as soon as he catches it, he's trying to get up the field. He's not trying to dance or anything. He's trying to get up the field. And if you're stopping him from getting up the field, he will run through you.
There you have it, the top 5 Rams, other than Matthew Stafford, that we are keeping our eye on that the Birds might need to worry about. But let's head to break now. And as we head to break, the School of Thought is in session. Time for Birds Trivia. And we want to know how many players have thrown a pass for both the Eagles and Rams franchises. Think about it. We'll be back on Birds Huddle with the answer.